Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor, and I got to wear one of my dress shirts. I really like that. It was a great time to wear it. I want to get you guys to get up and do, or a lot of you, to get up and do what I'm doing now. Talking. What you do every day. One of the things that you read whenever you check out Public Speaking for Dummies is, oh, tell some jokes. So, who can tell me what was in marijuana before the government got involved? No. That would be a renewable resource for paper, rope, fibers for clothing, food, cures for what else, and lots of fun! Sure the hell beats the hell out of locked up for life and beat like a dog. Who knows what was in tobacco before the government got involved? What tobacco? Now you got something that you can get for $5 a pack in one state, but costing you up to $14 a pack in New York City. And then they send their jackbooted tax enforcers around to make sure those who don't follow their law pay with their last breath. If we lived under such oppression, we would all be gasping, I can't breathe. It's kind of hard to find jokes in government oppression. But I'll try one more. Jesus was watching things go by like headlines of happenings here on earth. And he noticed that there were a lot of people who were dying over drugs. So he sent out his apostles. He said, I wanted you to bring back why so many people are dying over drugs. The first one to come back was Paul. Paul said, I brought back marijuana. Jesus looked at and said, well, let's try some, see what's up. So they rolled up a fat one, smoked it down, watched clouds go by. Hey, that one looks like a chariot, doesn't it? And Jesus said, well, but this surely doesn't account for any of these deaths due to drugs. What in the world? And then that's when John came in. And John said, I brought back cocaine. So they did a few lines. Then Matthew comes in, and he's got a vial of opium, so they try that. And there they are with all these drugs around, and Jesus said, well, all right, I can see how some of these can be abused, but they surely can't account for all of these deaths due to drugs. And that's when Judas came in. And Judas said, I have the answer, Rabbi. I've brought back why we have so many deaths due to drugs. And he greeted his Lord with a kiss and said, I brought the cops. Well, a repeat on history. You know, we have our First Amendment rights available to us, and that's what I'm here to speak on. Maximum execution of those. We have the ability to tell jokes, we have the ability to have fun. And we've seen some pretty amazing things happen over the state. 4 states, and now it's going to be legal. Check that out. Is this just crazy or what? I would not have thought that when the first began. But those 4 states in D.C., those were the low-hanging fruit. Those were the easy pickings. Georgia won't be so easy as liberal Washington or libertarian-leaning Alaska. I have a friend who lives in Alaska, and I said, so what's it like now that you guys are having it legal? And he said, the same as it was before, it's everywhere. But it is possible in Georgia. Key to accomplishing it here will be the same thing that made it happen in those easy states.
Money.
No, it's not money. In all of history, no dogs of oppression ever stayed their own attack. By ballot or by bullet, they were brought to heel at the command of their master, the people. What does that mean? No Democrat politician, no Republican politician made this happen in these states. It was by ballot, by vote, by popular vote, by we, the people. And we can do it here in Georgia. But the length of time it takes depends not only on how much money you give when you can spare it, but on your participation. 100% engagement of your First Amendment rights. Basically, we need public speakers. It's not what you think, though. It's not just getting up in front of a bunch of people. It might be in the break room or around the water cooler at work. It could be getting your Saturday morning cups of coffee at Starbucks. When you go onto Facebook, you spread content, you make comments. You interact with people who are voters or potential voters. 60% of the population that could vote doesn't vote. We've got Senate Bill 7 to support, one that I supported far more than the other medical marijuana bill. Allows patients to grow up to 8 plants in-state. Care providers to grow for patients in-state. Dispensaries to be set up in-state. Georgia doctors, Georgia growers, Georgia dispensaries and nurses, because it's Georgia citizens.
Georgia patients.
Georgia patients. Georgia children.
I have a question. That is money for Georgia. Why would they choose to not have it here versus the income that it would bring? What's holding them back from doing it?
I moved. You're still in the code.
Back to the money thing, yes.
That's a whole other topic, but when you think about the fact that if you get busted, you pay for your probation, you pay for your bail, you pay for everything.
And in a
Yet
lot
if
of
I
counties,
consent,
you pay
you're
for your
covering
lawyer,
it.
too.
It's about money because it's a big industry. It's a private industry. But that's what we're here to talk about, Indy. With serious effort, we could get an amendment to the state constitution, full legalization on the ballot with Senate Bill 6. 2016, we could vote on that. Not binding, it's considered a recommendation. I wish we were like other states and our word was law, but it would still send a message. We need everybody to be public speakers when you spread comments, whenever you talk to people, when you sit around the table. Wherever you came from, you're going to go back and talk to people who are going to make a difference or might be motivated to change their opinion. If your entire public speaking career is devoted only to that, then it's a grand gain. It's what grassroots are made of everybody doing the talking and doing the growing. Now, I've spent a lot of time in professional theater and in amateur theater. And I can tell you that most people here have the ability to deliver these comments, talking points well in the social situations I've given as an example. Most of you can do that really well. The problem is that we don't go about it in the right manner. When you learn by reading, you use one part of your brain. When you learn by hearing, it utilizes a different area. When you communicate in writing, you use yet a different area. When you communicate in speaking, it uses another. The problem is not that we have few people with the ability to speak. The problem is that we have few people who practice the ability of speaking in the first place. If you play tennis, any sports, it's like muscle memory. You've got to practice it. I directed theater at the Atlanta Area School for the Deaf. Boy, let me tell you, you can sit at home with your ASL sign language book and you can learn the signs all you want. Become extremely proficient in communicating all your thoughts and desires. But then as soon as someone spits a big long slew of something back at you, reading uses a different part of your brain. It has to be a total immersion thing. But you can do it. It strengthens the speakers that get up on stage to have everybody well versed in the talking points. Whenever we go out to engage and speak on issues, it's good to have people that go with them as support. There's networking that takes place before and after. It's good to have other people who are skilled in the talking points to also shake hands and smile, have fun. One of the biggest things I have to communicate, though, was communicated in Willie Stark's message in All the King's Men. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but it's an excellent movie about grassroots movements. And every time we speak to our friends, every function we have, we need to echo his campaign. If you don't vote, you don't matter. I've worked on campaigns, and our legislatures work the same. They target the voters. If you call your congressman, that's great. But he's going to compare his call list to the the people and their voting record. No, they're not going to know how you voted. They're just going to know whether or not you voted. And they discard a large percentage of those people who don't vote. Why? You don't threaten their power. If you don't vote, you don't matter. So anything you would say, speak, or use your First Amendment rights for in speaking with your lawmakers is totally worthless unless you vote. And believe me, whenever I did research on campaigns, we didn't have computers doing it. So if they would do it whenever you had printouts, boy, how much easier is it with Excel to compare and contrast. After you vote, well, before you vote, November 3rd of this year, go vote if you have an election where you're at. It's an off year. Come and learn talking points. We're adding on 30 minutes max at the end of each session. Start with talking points. Start getting into groups, doing speakers, fun games. And it will be fun. We'll have a good time with it. We'll raise up a lot of fun times, but also from you will come up good writers and strong speakers. And we're going to send you guys out to speak on the medical need. Doctors, citizens, patients, parents of patients, come and build your personal testimony. Speak of the journey of going from over 300 seizures a month to less than 15. One every 2.5 hours to one every 48. That's just crazy. Veterans dealing with PTSD. If you've beaten cancer, we need your personal testimony. And it might not be possible, and this is where we need everybody. It might not be possible for some patients or parents of patients to come because some have virtually fled the state to go to ones that were less oppressive. Come and learn their story and speak on their behalf, pleading their case. Tomorrow it might be you or your child. Elks, Kiwanis, Masons, other civic organizations are woefully short of this information, as well as scheduled speakers to impart it. Speak of agriculture. An acre of hemp will get 4 times the fiber as the same acre of trees. Yet unlike trees, you can wear hemp, make some nice clothes, rope, paper, fuel, plastics, livestock feed, many other things that you don't smoke. Providing more than cotton and corn combined and sustainably. If it were legal out there, anybody with a couple of acres that they didn't have anything to do with would be sticking hemp on it. Do you have farmland? Do you know farmers?
Kentucky.
Georgia. Got to get it done in Georgia. I'm not moving. Speak of the economy. We need business people to go to Rotaries, Chambers of Commerce, and JCs. This wave that is obviously sweeping across the nation will eventually get to us, and it's happening not just in medical, but recreational and hemp production. Hemp was widely used until World War II. If it were the current prohibition were lifted, it would be a lot of new industries. We need to be leaders in all those industries, not followers in any. And I think one of the most important things we need to speak of, the oppressive and ruthless manner in which these laws are carried out. We need to speak against no-knock warrants. We need to insist that the government acknowledge its own fallibility, which has already created severe facial damage and deaths of innocent people. We need to speak of how it targets, any prohibition targets the poor. We need to speak of how, coming off the heels of the Civil Rights Act, many of our poor that were targeted were our minorities. We need to call for an end of the new prison segregation. Now, I've mentioned a lot of groups, and all of them, even the random schmuck that just wants to get high and be left alone, all of them fall under oppressed. But here's your problem with groups. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and no one was left to speak for me. Sometimes I feel it echoed in my own country. It is on us to learn the talking points of all involved. It is only one group that is being oppressed, and that is we the people. It is against us the war on liberty will be forever waged, and it is for us to forever oppose it in all of its manifestations. Stay afterwards with us. Learn different ways things can happen. Artists among us, musicians. We can have songs written tailored to our struggle here in Georgia. You want to talk about Atlanta burning the first time? What about it burning the second time? What kind of a mirror could we have on legalized weed in Georgia and Atlanta burning a second time? We could come up with a lot of great stuff. We have in our support system the ability to mount a traveling art show showing everybody's struggle. But the problem is are you tired of this joke they call justice enough to do it? We didn't win the Revolutionary War with a majority support. It was a loud, informed, active minority that pushed it forward. That's where we got our freedom. How loud can you be? Thank you for your time.